Heartbreak on the Goldie. The Eagles' agonising 2-point loss to the Dogs leave them outside the top 4 with just 2 games remaining in the home and away season. West Coast showed resilience, an undermanned side dealing with a 5-day break against a determined Bulldogs outfit desperate for their own taste of finals action. But the outcome means the Eagles must now rely on other results to secure a double chance in the finals. Welcome to this week's episode of Eagle Review, proudly sponsored by Kennards Hire. Of course, you can count on Kennards to make trade easy. Go in-store or online, kennards.com.au. Tyson Beattie back at the desk with me, and what a depressing way that was to end a weekend.
Oh, Stephen, it certainly was a bit of a Debbie Downer, wasn't it, for a Sunday afternoon? But if you consider it really was a gallant effort by West Coast, considering the injury toll, the lack of rest, and a really hungry opposition coming into the game. It was quite a good effort, but of the last 3 games we've been involved in that has been decided by a goal or less, we've actually lost them all.
Oh, that's a hard-hitting stat, that one. The coach certainly decrees outplayed on the night. Western Bulldogs certainly look more energised, coming off an 11-day break. That certainly helps, V5, but we've had our chance doing that to opposition as well. A gallant effort, as you did say, but they just couldn't stop what was coming. Yeah,
it was a real battle of opposing styles, really. West Coast had double the kick-to-handball ratio than the Doggies. The Doggies did dominate contested possession there. They had 15 more tackles and 11 tackles inside 50.
Yeah, they hunted well.
They hunted really, really well. One of the most telling factors, though, they had the 8 highest disposal winners in the game.
That is a horrible stat to look at from an engine room point of view.
Yeah, Simo said it wasn't a pretty game to watch, but it was entertaining given how close it was at the end. And you could say it was fever pitch towards the
I wouldn't say that at all. It's a terrible pun, but it was good to see the West Coast Fever come out in support for the many thousands there at Metricon. Now, a few soldiers missing on the night, TB, everyone knows that, but they're fair players when you look at the resumes. So the duo superstar midfielders in Luke Shuey and Elliot Yeo, 4 best and fairest between them in the last few years. Shannon Hearn, a few top 3 finishes in their BNF.
Well, Bunga had only missed 3 games in the last 6 seasons, so remarkable durability he showed.
He's Superman. And you throw that in with Nick Natanui, who's probably going to collect his second All-Australian jumper this year. He was a late scratching from the outing.
Yeah, Nick, obviously some reports coming through from the medical team during the week. He was a little bit tight, a little bit sore. So this rest probably gears him up to come back against the Saints, hopefully.
Yeah, you'd never forgive yourself if he had telltale signs of something tweaking and you rolled him out after a 4-day break. So good decision there. Throw in Jamie Cripps, who's arguably the best 2-way small forward in the competition, and those add up.
Yeah, and if you look at it, going to the start of the game, I mean, we were on top in clearances. We actually started really well. 4 goals from 10 entries in that first quarter. The efficiency was really good scoring-wise. Waterman looks good in his return, kicking the first 2 goals. 2 pinpoint handballs set them both up.
Didn't they?
But the Dogs wasted their chances. They scored just 3 points from their 9 inside 50s. Then everything clicked, Thumper. Whatever Luke Beveridge said at the break here...
He said a lot.
He made a big difference because their clearances and ground ball work just went up. And they turned 11 inside 50s into 3 goals 5. West Coast had just 2 inside 50s, no score, and it was all level at half-time.
They were starved of opportunity, the forward line. I mean, have a look at this supply over the last 2 weeks. So prior to that, the last 5 weeks in the hub, averaging 40 inside 50s over those 5 weeks, which is monstrous. Then you've come out and gone 32 against the Bombers and 27 against the Dogs, 18 behind. The time in forward half stat, this is just so disparaging.
Hugely lopsided. 63%
of the Dogs, 37. It just lived in there. The long kicks down the line, TB. How's this for a stat? So 23 times West Coast went long down the line. They normally like to go corridor, pinpoint and move the footy around. The Dogs have done it 9 times compared to 23, and the Dogs have recovered twice as much footy with those kicks down the line. So force the contest, have the ball up or throw in, and they won it at the coalface.
They might have seen what worked for the Bombers a little bit last week as well, although this week we didn't dominate that contested marking ball as much as the week before. Premiership midfielder Mark Hutchings got injured, his hamstring injury again, so that probably leaves him in doubt for the rest of the season, at least a couple of weeks out.
Yeah, he's had big battles with that all year round, but a mid-rotation, of all rotations to be down for so long, did it at the start of the second quarter, really hurt in the midfield.
I think the coaching staff made some really good adjustments. If you look at Liam Duggan, he went into the midfield and had a real real impact. What they did with Ainsworth was good as well. They shifted him onto Caleb Daniel, who was really killing us in that second term. He really nullified him after half time. Lewis Jetta going back in defence, and Jake Waterman playing up a little bit higher on the wing. That seemed to work a little bit as well. But the problem was we just couldn't score. It was an hour of play pretty much between goals from the end of that first quarter to the end of the third quarter. And despite that, the game was still up for grabs.
Yeah, remarkable. And the commentator actually said on cue, we need a bit of a lift from Dommy Sheed and Andrew Gaff. Both had one touch for the majority of that third quarter. And as if on cue, Dommy Sheed has just pulled out one of his trademark difficult goals on the run and putting us right back in it. And Andrew Gaff, who had the close attention of Toby McLean all day, he's been involved in this instrumental play in the fourth quarter. So creates this contest going back with the flight, brings it to ground, ends up getting on the end of this ball from a Dommy Sheed steal, and a good shepherd from Tom Hickey pinpoints JK for a goal in the fourth. Now, they pay very close attention to Andrew Gaff for a very good reason, TB.
He played very well against the Bulldogs in previous encounters. He's averaging 35 touches over the last 6 games against the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, well, leading disposal getter 5 of those 6 times. So they've put the attention into him. 15 disposals on the night. It worked, you would have to say. And I think, that's the 4th time he's been in the teens in 2020. So opposition finally catching on saying, hey, if we stop Andrew Gaff, this could make a bit of a difference in West Coast theory. But
yeah, it was a factor. What about this free kick here late in the game, which also had a big impact?
Oh, it did. Joshy Rotham, obviously, still coming off 10 or 11 games experience, and that was just an unfortunate incident, taking the eyes off the ball and making contact with his opponent and not contesting the mark, and he'll learn from it.
Probably didn't need to do it, really.
No, he didn't. Gov had position, but just wrong place, wrong time, and he'll be better for that, and unfortunately, you just got to learn from those errors. But the game had everything in the fourth quarter. You've got Norton taking pack marks.
See him going back and forth with Oscar Allen here a little bit. They are actually State 18's teammates, so a bit of good luck.
That certainly helps, because when he missed one from 15 metres out, Oscar Allen was all over and letting him know all about it. But then, of course, we get to the play, TB.
The hero from last week, again, a remarkable Tommy Cole, but wouldn't have happened without this amazing setup by Liam Ryan. He battled hard all night, in the wars with this taping around the head, set up 2 score assists in Q3 with some quality ball use as well. Then this effort to tee up Cole, this was something else. He had options everywhere, but he chose the right one under enormous pressure. Tommy Cole goes back under pressure, kicks the goal. He breaks his duck last week. Now he's got 2 in 2 weeks.
He's just swimming in goals right now. Good work. And I think many West Coast Eagles fans were like, oh, my God, we're going to actually get out of this.
But then enter the Bond.
Let's talk about it, because there's a fair few moments around this play. So let's start with that kick. If that's 15 metres, I'll go jump. No chance in history. But have a look at where Razor Ray's marked Oscar Allen. So
the mark should have been on the Telstra logo.
You can see it. I'll do this in post-production. Right about there. And then he sets him up about there. That's probably got to be 1-2 metres. And then you look at how far that kick has travelled over the line, and it's made a big difference.
It was a big bomb, wasn't it? It was a great kick. But just on the goal replay, so you see it past the line here. The goal umpire's decided his call was a goal. The first replay showing those iPhone cameras, once again, those iPhone 3 cameras, the Nokia specials, doesn't quite give us all the evidence we need. The second angle kind of suggests it might have been touched.
The angles contradict each other, really, because of the frame rate. So it's an incredibly difficult position for the AFL to be in.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't show fans the second angle until after the decision was made probably had a few irate Eagles fans going bananas in their lounge room, but
you don't lose a game off 3 kicks, do you?
No, you don't, because people want to throw Jack Darling under the bus because he had the 1 at 3/4 time, which was kicked in the man on the mark, and then 2 misses in the fourth. But yeah, exactly, it doesn't come down to 4 moments, and they were really outplayed. And now they've got another short break. They've got to roll into an informed St Kilda team. And it's going to be a massive stretch, because you probably can't miss the 8. You're 15% in front of that one, and now you've got to rely on Geelong knocking over the Tigers, and it's just a position you don't want to be in. You look back at this game and say, is this going to be our Hawthorn of 2019, that slip up at the end where you think you're a lock for top 4? And all the rug gets pulled out underneath you.
Well, let's just stay positive. And Simo says that the first priority is to qualify for finals, like you said. So they just need to take care of what's in front of them. St Kilda first, North Melbourne the week after that, and then we'll see what happens with all the rest of the results.
Well, tense wait for Jeremy McGovern, though, so a bit of drama on that fractured thumb of his that he suffered earlier in the year. Now, he's come back on and bravely battled it out, but he is just another one of those critical top 10 Eagles that you don't want missing from the remainder of the contest, home and away.
St John of God injury report on Tuesday.
Pluggy plug. I like where you're going there.
Roasts.
Yeah, well, we can't let losses get in the way of a bit of fun here at the review. So let's get stuck in. The 2 Toms have it out here. Fair clash. Bruce providing the perfect decoy on that occasion. Now, Will Hayes, this is just a perfect opportunity. Push your man under it. You got all the space behind you. Goes for mark of the millennium. No good, because that's cost your team a goal. So live and learn from that one. This in the back half, Tommy Cole misses Jeremy McGovern in his target. And again, like last week, Gov just says, I can outpower you. But
wow.
No, he did not. But in the end, Sam Lloyd says, I feel a bit guilty about that one, and sprayed it anyway.
Now, what about this collision between Bruce and Smith? Whoa, geez, Bruce did a pretty good job to get up from this. A little bit later, though, he has gaff all over his back.
Nah, it's not much of a reward for powering through the game, is it?
No, not at all. Now, we did win the free kick count.
Yeah, giddy up. That's a good stat.
But what about this one from Oscar Allen? What do you think? A bit too high?
Oh, it could have been paid, but I'm glad it didn't. That'll make his highlight reel in due course. That was a good clinging tackle.
Now, Bruce back into it again here. Mark of the day.
Easily.
What about this handball to Hunt? He wasn't even watching.
Nah, that's a critical part of handballing. Make sure your teammate knows what's going on. Now, of course, Nelson's going to feature here, running too far out of the goal square and resulting in a goal. That was a tough one to swallow. Bont had an earlier shot on goal in the game. Didn't quite make the distance. That's because old Bruce prevented it from the goal. That was good play. No, but this replay that they've given me, what's it telling me? The only thing it says is that Tom Barras has flied about a week early. What about the replay that shows me why this ump's on the deck? That's critical information that I missed.
Jeez. What about Tim English? Almost mark of the year here?
Yeah, it was gutsy stuff. But if you drop it, you get a roast, TB.
Now, this is a roast for anyone that thinks that Gaff doesn't have a right foot thumper, which I think you're one of them. So
yeah, he put me in that. He put me to shame. That's marvellous delivery. And why haven't we seen it more often? So I'll roast him for not using it more often then.
Right.
Now, if I'm going to be a forward and be leading out to a midfielder, Tim Kelly, Luke Shuey, give me them every day of the week. But with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, I reckon Timmy Kelly wants that one again.
And maybe Gaff on his right foot would have been a better option.
Well said.
Yeah. Now, let's go round the grounds and start with Tom Papley. This is a bit of a simple miss here, Thumper, but Ed Langdon says, no dramas, I've got you covered.
Oh, that's sewed it up too for Sydney, so not the best.
Now, what about this awkward celebration here between Walsh and Murphy? The goalpost getting involved in the celebration here.
Oh, you put my check down here. This is harsh, TB.
I know. My check, this one here, given the game was on the line, it was pretty crucial. Roast.
Yeah, well said. Now we go to the winner. Live crosses, TB.
Live crosses in TV can be very fraught with danger.
How's old mate having a look for his pill behind him?
It's gone, mate.
Hey, unless some fish has got it in its gob and he's saying, here you go, I'd probably push on from that one, champion.
Make your job easy.